Welcome to Empowered Wellness with Sheetal. My name is Sheetal, and I thank you for joining me today in this cleansing practice. So I call it a cleansing practice because what we're going to do today is coordinate with our movements, our yoga movements and yoga poses, some breath work, some conscious breathing, and then also maybe some sounding on the exhales as a way of really expelling toxins and any kind of holding patterns that we may have inside of us, whether they're physical holding or whether they are mental, emotional holding, worries, thoughts, whatever. We're going to let it all out today in this cleansing practice. So let's begin by actually bringing our feet slightly wider than our traditional mountain pose stance. So the outside of the feet are going to kind of be lined up with the outside of the hips. And then of course we always want to get grounded and get really steady and balanced through our feet. So I like to lift my toes. It's a nice little trick where lifting the toes up helps bring the weight even around the edges of the feet. And then I call them the tripod points. So bring your focus to these tripod points, which are the base of the big toe, the base of the pinky toe, and at the heel. And then gently bring, once the weight is pressed through those tripod points, bring the toes back down, relaxing the toes back into the floor as well, maintaining that even base through the feet. And then check your knees, shake them out a little bit, make sure, especially if you have a tendency to press back into your knees and push back into the knee joints. We want to keep that little micro bend there if you have that habit of doing that, and keep those knee joints nice and soft. And then of course, we pull up through the pelvic floor. So engaging the pelvic floor muscles, engaging the lower abdominals to bring that pelvis upright. The navel goes in and up. That helps lift that rib cage, creating a nice strong core area, a lifted rib cage. And then gradually bringing the shoulders back, just kind of relaxing them back, letting the arms hang. Checking in with the head to make sure that we're not pulling the head forward, which is another common tendency. Kind of retracting the head back, imagining that the ears are lined up with the shoulders. So finding this basically mountain stance, except that our feet are a little bit wider than we may normally hold in this stance. Just find that nice balance through the body. And I invite you to close your eyes as you come into this strong, steady stance, soft face. And if it feels appropriate, I might even invite you to bring one hand to the heart space and one hand to your abdomen, just gently placing the hands there, keeping the shoulders relaxed as you do that. And just begin to notice your breathing. Notice the flow of breath in and out. And allow your breath to be steady and smooth. And if it's not even, perhaps make some gentle effort to even it out. Nice, smooth, full breaths. We're going to really work with our breath today. So make the breath full, smooth, and even here. And as you're tuning into your breath, also observe where in your body you might be holding on to some tension, some holding patterns, some areas where you feel resistance, you feel block. And if you begin to bring awareness to those areas, take a few breaths and imagine the breath going right into those areas, and set an intention to clear those blocks, to release that resistance, to ease the tensions from those areas in your body, wherever they may be. Beautiful. A few more breaths, nice mindful breaths, feeling yourself nicely grounded, bringing ease to the effort that you might be making here to keep your balance even through your feet. Your spine lifted and tall, your shoulders relaxed, your face soft. Awesome. One more nice big breath. And on the exhale, let's just send it out with a nice sigh, or maybe blowing the exhale, or even making a ha sound, which we'll use any or all of those things throughout the practice. So nice breath in, Actually, let's do 2 more of those. Nice breath in. Oh. One more last breath in. And then bringing the arms back down. So I kind of demonstrated right there 3 ways you might be able to breathe out on the exhale as we go through the practice. Just a nice big sigh, a nice big exhale without sound, or maybe even making that nice ha sound, which can be really releasing, really detoxifying. So let's start off by warming up. Let's warm up those joints. Let's get those joints softened up a little bit. So shifting the weight over to that right foot. So just gently shifting over to your right foot, and then lifting the left foot and just beginning to make little circles. You might bring the left foot a little closer to the right in order to be balanced, and just making little rotations, little circles with that foot going in both directions, loosening up the ankle. So after we do that a few times, making sure that you're really nicely grounded through that right foot, let's curl onto the tops of the toes. So you might just gently curl the toes right there next to your right foot. Or if you feel comfortable and if you feel balanced enough, so really be mindful of your balance here, you could take that left foot a little bit further back. So depending on how you feel with your balance, allow yourself to decide where you want to place that left foot in order to stretch the top of that left foot going into the left ankle. And we're not pressing down. Wherever you are with this, we're not pressing down, we're just allowing the weight of the foot to offer the stretch. So wherever you are with this, let's come back, and we're going to place that foot back down at the outside of the hip, ground into that left foot, lift the right, and let's begin doing a few rotations with the right foot, right ankle, loosening it up. A few times in one direction, and then a few times in the other direction. And then once we do that, again, start off with just curling those toes right there next to your foot. And then as you feel balanced and as you feel like you might want to attempt going a little bit deeper into the stretch, you might play with taking the foot back to the extent which it feels good to you. Again, making sure that you find that edge where you can feel a good stretch but also keep your balance comfortably. A couple more breaths wherever you are with this. And then gently bringing that foot back, again, lining up to the outside of your hips, and then finding your balanced weight through your feet once again. Shake out those knees, bring your hands to your hips. Let's begin some nice slow-mo hula hoops. This is a hula hoop movement, or at least that's what I like to call it, but we're doing it in slow motion. So just coordinating this hula hoop movement with your breathing. And I like to coordinate the breath by inhaling as I come forward, exhaling as I go back, but whatever works for you. So coordinating your breathing with this movement and going at the pace that your breath is showing you, that your breath is dictating to you, that your breath is guiding you to do. So we'll do a couple more just like this. And the next time you come forward, we're going to stop and go in the opposite direction. So again, letting the breath guide you in this direction, in your pelvic rotations here, hip rotations, letting the breath flow, letting the body flow. Awesome. When you come back, or when you come to the front the next time, stop and let's come upright once again. Once again, gentle engagement through the core, lifted rib cage, arms are going to come to the side, and let's do some shoulder rotations. I kind of like to bend the knees a little too as I do my shoulder rotations, so you decide whether you want to do that as well. But once again, we're coordinating breath. So inhaling as you go back and down, exhaling forward and up, or again, whatever feels right to you. Nice big breaths, let the breath guide you, let the arms be loose, right? So the arms aren't doing this kind of movement. The arms are just hanging loosely. It's the shoulders doing the movement. The next time they come down, let's stop and go in the opposite direction. Inhaling as you go back and up, exhaling as you come forward and down. A couple more in this direction. And as you come forward, let's do one or two more in the opposite direction and just settle those shoulders once again. Shake out those arms. We're going to do one more shoulder movement here to loosen up those shoulders. And in this one, it's a front-back kind of squeezing. So inhaling, we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades back, let the arms be soft. Exhaling, squeeze the collarbones forward. Inhaling, squeeze the shoulder blades back. Exhaling, collarbones forward. So at your own pace, find that rhythm. And again, your spine might kind of move with the shoulders a little bit, and that's wonderful if that feels good to you. Letting the arms be loose. It's more from the shoulders, not so much from the arms. Opening up that heart space, and then opening up the upper back. One more. And then coming back to center, shake that out a little bit. Actually, let's do a little, what I like to call the wet dog. So just kind of shake it out like a wet dog might shake it out. And then come back to that center spot once again, feeling grounded once again. You might be seeing guest appearances from my kitty cats. Hello, Gizmo. Thank you for visiting. So now moving our way up, we're going to come into the neck and the head and release some tension from the neck. So with that inhale, let's take the chin up, shoulders stay back, everything else stays neutral, nice lifted spine. Breathe in as you hold the chin towards the sky. Be mindful not to throw the head back. And then on the exhale, hinge forward. Let the chin come toward the chest without pulling your head or shoulders forward, right? It's just a hinge. Shoulders stay back. Hold it there for a couple breaths. And then we're going to start a little movement, loosening up through the neck. So inhaling the chin up, exhaling the chin down. And just find your pace, loosening up the front and the back of the neck with this gentle flexion extension of the cervical spine. We'll do one more. And then bring that head back to neutral. Neutral spine, neutral neck. And then we'll do a little side to side. So inhale, center. Exhale as you turn the head to one side. Inhale, center. Exhale as you turn to the other side. So just a few movements side to side as if you're saying no. Just to loosen up in that direction. One more here. And then back to center. And then a little side bending. So we'll take your right ear toward your right shoulder and just kind of check to make sure that you're kind of level and you're not really looking up or down when you initially bring your ear to your shoulder. And then imagine that right hand gently being pulled down. So there's little weights at your right fingertips and they're being pulled down gently, causing a little extra stretch. I'm sorry, not the right hand, the left hand. Imagine that your left hand, this hand here, your opposite hand in the direction of what your head is going, there's a little weights pulling down at your left fingertips. And by doing that, you're actually accentuating the stretch here. So you're not making a forceful effort. It's just that intentional, gentle lengthening or pull through that left arm, left hand. And then now the right hand will actually rest. Just a little rest here. We're not pressing down on the head. We're just resting the hand. And again, this accentuates that opening through the left side of the neck. A couple more breaths. Breathe into this. Now here, if you'd like to try to do a little movement, you can gently bring the chin down and then move it up. Just mindfully moving the head, nothing fast, nothing erratic, just a nice, slow, mindful movement to access a little more of the side of the neck. And if you hit any spots, I call them those sweet spots, right? Or maybe they're not so sweet, but we want to turn them into sweet spots that feel good. You just pause and maybe take a couple extra breaths where it feels a little extra tense or held or restricted. Big breaths in. Big breaths out. Wherever you feel that resistance. Wherever you are, one more breath, and then bring it back to neutral. Take that hand down. The head comes up. Roll the shoulders a few times. Shake it out. Come back to center, back to neutral. Let's do the other side. So left ear towards the left shoulder, trying to line it up. Imagining now on the right hand. Now the right hand has those little imaginary weights gently lengthening down. And now the left hand can rest at the top of the head. Breathing into the resistance, breathing into the stretch on the right side of the neck, imagining that side of the neck opening up, softening up. And then if you feel comfortable with this, the mindful movement up and down. Breathing with the movement. Rest the body staying neutral. Again, if you're finding any particular spots that require extra attention, hold it there if you like. You can continue with the movement if you feel like you just want to continue with the movement. A couple of big breaths wherever you are, whatever you're choosing to do. And then coming back to center, back to neutral. Take the hand down, bring that head up one more time, shaking it out a little bit, a little wet dog movement. Let it go. All right, so major joints hopefully feel a little looser, a little more warmed up. Now we're going to take a bigger step out. So just a slightly bigger step, maybe take one footprint out and keep the toes pointing forward though as best as you can. And ground yourself once again. Lift those toes if you need to. Feel that nice balance through both feet. Spine is neutral. Lift up through that core. Once again, we're going to begin doing some bigger movements now. So on the inhale, reach it up. Lengthen through that upper body, but gently press down through the lower body. Legs are strong, but we're not pushing back or locking the knees. Be careful that you are not doing that. Another breath in, reach it up, and on the exhale, take that right arm down to the side as we do a little side bend, opening up the left side of the body, keeping the torso lengthened and lifted so you're not sinking into your side here. And then inhaling, bring it back. Exhale to the other side. I'm going to do two more like that. So this is where we can add on the exhale that extra kind of sounding that can really help create some release if you choose to. We're going to do one more. And then coming back up, reach it up. On the exhale, bring those hands down, and you're going to take a hold of the pelvic rim. So I'll turn to the side so you can see what I'm saying. Right kind of on either side of your sacrum, not up here on your back. Either side of the sacrum, ground it through your feet, tilt the pelvis back just a little bit, the top of the pelvis goes back just a little bit, lift up through that heart center, and then find a supported standing back bend here. So I like to bend my knees a little bit, that really helps me get that lift up through the heart. And then I can always straighten out my legs, be careful of your head. Don't throw that head back, especially if the weight of the head is too much. You might even gently tuck your chin or keep the head neutral. So you decide. It's coming from the chest. The heart is what's lifting and lengthening up. Open up those shoulders. Breathe into the front body. Find your edge. If you're not able to breathe smoothly and comfortably, then that's an indication that you've gone too far. So bring it up a little bit to the place where you can breathe smoothly and comfortably. One more breath wherever you are. And then on the next in-breath, first bring the chin back, then the shoulders, and then the pelvis comes aligned once again, nice and tall, coming back into our neutral spine. So take a moment to pause, and we'll keep the heels where they are, and we'll take the toes out. So now our feet are pointed more to the outside. And we're going to, once again, feel grounded. We're going to do some movement here with our side bending again, but it'll be a little bit different. So inhale up. Exhale, we're going to go to one side. We're going to bend the opposite knee. So I'm going to my right, my left's bent. Inhale up, and we're going to the other side. So at your own pace. And let's add some sounding here, if that works for you. So inhaling. Whatever kind of sounding feels good to you, go at the pace that feels good to you. It's like you're sweeping away the cobwebs through your movement, through your breathing, letting it go. Feeling a nice gentle opening through the side body again. We're going to do 3 more. Nice breath in, reach it up. Exhale, bring it down. Take a pause. Awesome. And now we're going to do a little twisting movement. I mentioned twisting before, I think. So take that nice breath in, and on the exhale, we're going to twist to one side, bringing our hands around the body. Inhale, center, twist to the other side. So ha. form of exhale that works for you. I kind of just demoed all 3 different ones that I've suggested, but you can do whatever works for you. We're going to do a few more. And slowly bring it back. So coming back to center once again. Find that grounding, adjust your feet if you need to. Maybe you close your eyes now, or maybe find that focus point in front of you on which to gaze, and just notice how it feels as you hold this steady, wide-legged mountain stance. Softness along the face. Just notice any sensations within. Notice the feel of energy flowing within and maybe around you as well. Notice your breath. We'll take 2 more breaths here and pause. Okay, and then opening your eyes if you had them closed. Wonderful. So we're going to go into a little more yoga pose along with movement. And if you have any blocks, or if you have cushions that you might be using in place of blocks, if you don't have blocks, go ahead and bring at least one of the blocks in front of you so that you have the support you need. And if you know that you have trouble with forward bending, then maybe you bring both blocks, because then we might actually use both blocks. So go ahead and might as well bring all your supports, all your blocks right in front of you, just in case. And we're going to take those feet as wide as we can within comfort of our bodies and our balance. So again, bringing the toes straight now again with a wider stance, taking those feet out as wide as you feel comfortable doing so. Grounding evenly, lift those toes. Once again, find those tripod points. Nice lift through the core. Rib cage is lifted as well. Shoulders are back. Take a nice breath in. Bring those arms up again. Pressing down through the legs, lifting up through the upper body, the spine, soft face. On the exhale, we're going to do a little back bend here once again. So pressing down through the legs, tilt the top of the pelvis back, lift up through the heart, shoulders go away from the ears. Noticing if you're shrugging your shoulders, release the shoulders down. Breathe, pressing down evenly through the feet as you lift up through the heart. Nice breaths. Again, watch the head. Bring the neck neutral if you need to. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And when you're ready, slowly bring the chin back first, then the shoulders and the pelvis coming upright. Now, strongly grounding, take a breath. Now we're going to hinge forward, neutral spine. Keep that flat back feeling and stop halfway. So it almost feels like you have a flat back here. It's like your upper body is like a tabletop. Shoulders stay away from the ears. Legs are getting really strong now to hold you here. Core is engaged to help those legs. 1 more breath here at center. And then continue keeping that spine as neutral as possible as you reach down toward the floor. So at this point, you might want to start using your blocks. So for some people, maybe they use both blocks and they might be right here. The other thing also is if your knees need to be bent, perfectly fine as you're doing this. Knees can be bent. The key is to make sure the knees stay in line with the toes, in line with the ankles, and they don't knock inward. So really be aware of that. If you need to bring your feet closer together to allow yourself to do that, then go ahead and do that as well. So whatever you need to do. So you might be here with your forward bend, you might be here with your forward bend, or you might be all the way to the floor. It doesn't matter. You decide, and that's why it's important to have some type of prop. Even if it's not a yoga block, cushions, pillows, anything that gives you support that you might be able to use in your house. So taking it as far down as you feel comfortable here, finding your forward bend, just take a moment to breathe a couple of big breaths here. Awesome. On each exhale, letting go whatever might have felt held before, whatever you may have been holding on to. And then gently lengthening the spine so you have a neutral spine. Either take one of your blocks or bring your hand to the floor under your head with that nice long extended spine. The left hand comes to your left hip even weight through the legs as you twist to look up towards the ceiling. So keep that weight nice and even through the feet as you twist up towards the ceiling. Now, optionally, you might take that left arm up to the sky to reach in opposite directions, right arm down, left arm up. But you might also just choose to keep the hand at your hip, or you might even choose to wrap it around. That's one thing I like to do to really open up that left shoulder and the upper body, is to bring my arm around. So you decide what feels good for you. Try to keep the weight even and balanced through both legs. One more breath here. Wherever your arm is, bring it back down, and let's switch, of course. Bring the right hand to the right hip, twisting first, and then deciding what you want to do with the arm, whether you want to raise it up, whether you want to keep it at the hip, or whether you want to wrap it around. Nice big breaths, smooth, full breaths here. Breathe into the tension, into the restriction, wherever you're feeling. Keeping strong or staying strong, keeping the breath flowing. On that next in-breath, the arm will come down, coming back to center, and once again, find your fold. So whatever that is, whatever kind of support you need for your fold, settle into it. Two more breaths wherever you are. And then engage the core. You might even bend the knees a little bit, press down through your feet, engage the core to come back to that flat back position. Shoulders back, breathe. Keep that breath flowing. So much happens with the breath. That's why we keep a smooth, steady breath flowing the whole time. And then with that next inhale, bringing it all the way up. Find that upright pelvis, lifted ribcage, turn those hands, tilt the top of the pelvis back, one more little back bend. Keeping the legs strong, lifting up through that heart, taking the head wherever it wants to go, shoulders are soft. Two more breaths. Inhaling, bring that head up, bring the shoulders up, pelvis is upright, and just relax. Awesome. So now we will reposition the feet one more time. Turn those heels inward. Okay, so you're going to turn them inward as much as you can and still maintain balance. So for some of us, that might be where we can actually take those heels almost in line with the toes. For some of us, that might mean those heels aren't quite so in line with the toes, that they're at an angle. Perfectly okay. Whatever works for you. And for some of us, we might even have to bring the feet a little closer together. So again, do what works for you wherever you are and wherever you find your balance. Lift those toes, get yourself grounded once again through those tripod points, and then straighten out. We're going to do a little fun movement here. We're going to do a goddess movement, but we're going to add a little extra to that by doing the lion roar along with it. And this is a real fun thing to do. It might seem a little silly, especially if you've never done this, but it's very detoxifying. It's very cleansing. It really helps release a lot from within. So we'll start off first just practicing our goddess pose. So reach up through those arms, lengthen the upper body, and on the exhale, turn your palms forward and bend those knees, and you can make some adjustments here. Keep those knees over the toes. Don't let them knock inward. So really engage strongly, really engaging strongly through that core. It's all supported. Lower back is feeling relaxed. Make sure you're not tucking that tailbone under and putting any strain at the sacrum. So really it's all about the core engaging. That's what's going to support your lower back. So holding it here for a couple more breaths. Awesome. On the inhale, reach it up, bring those hands together. Exhale, bring it back. So we're going to do this as a movement. Inhale up. And then hold it up here. Now this time we're going to add that lion's roar, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you first, and then we're going to add it to the exhale. So basically on the exhale we will stick our tongue out and then roll our eyes up and just make a roaring sound. So it'll be something like this. So pretty fun, huh? So get ready to do that on the exhale. Inhale, reach it up. On the exhale, Let's do 2 more. And hold it up. Exhale, bring it down. Let's close those eyes. Let's bring those toes back towards the front. Maybe even bring those heels a little closer in. Find your balance, and now close those eyes. Relax the body, relax the arms, the shoulders, the face. Give yourself a little smile for the fun you just had, for the silliness, if it felt silly to you, that you just experienced, or for the great release that you might have felt as you did that. We can tap into our power. We can tap into the cleansing aspect of that. Just notice what you felt in experiencing that last goddess movement with the lion's roar. Pausing for 2 more breaths. And then gently opening those eyes. One last time, a little wet dog shake, letting it all go. And then we're going to slowly ease our way down to the mat. So come on down onto the mat. Let's start off. And one of the things you might want to do is, if you're not comfortable sitting straight on the floor on the mat, bring a blanket, a yoga blanket or any kind of firm blanket under your hips. Sit towards the front. And that helps elevate the hips, keeping them more upright so you're not rolling back. So sitting up, nice and tall. Let's come into a more of a diamond shape. So this is like a diamond shape with our feet. Not quite the cobbler pose or bound angle, a little bit different if you're familiar with that in yoga. But coming into that diamond shape, hands can be at the knees, at the shins, wherever you're comfortable holding. I'm going to do a little spinal flexing and extension here, and once again, coordinating the breath, including sound if we choose to do so. So on the inhale, rolling up, bringing the heart up when we do our back bend, just like when we were doing our back bend, shoulders back, head might go back. On the exhale, curling back through the heart, the chin comes down. So continue that movement. It's kind of like a seated cat-cow if you're familiar with cat-cow. Nice big breath in. 2 more. And then slowly coming back to center once again. Just finding that center. Nice lifted spine. Beautiful. And then bringing those feet out. So for this one, I actually recommend taking the blanket away if you are on a blanket. Let's bring those feet out wide. Maybe a little wider than the hips. You're going to lean back just a teeny bit. Just make sure you're not sinking into your gut or shrugging your shoulders. Keep the core gently engaged, always lifting that spine and keeping it neutral. We're just going to begin doing some gentle twisting movement side to side with those legs, with those hips. So inhaling at center, exhaling to the sides. Next time you go over to the right, take the legs all the way over to the right. You might even come up slightly to allow your legs to come all the way over. For some of us, that left knee may not come all the way down. It might hang, and that's okay. Just let it go as far as it will. You decide where that feels good to you. Don't force it. Hold it and breathe, and really let the weight of the legs go, especially that left leg, especially if it's hanging. Just really try to let go of any resistance, let gravity just hold down on it as it will, letting go. Let that be the stretch, the natural stretch. Breathe into wherever you feel your resistance, your tension, especially through that left thigh, left hip. We're going to take one more breath here. And then getting really firmly firmly grounded through that right hand. Press down into the floor. Inhale up with the left. Allow that right knee to come down as you bring the left hand alongside the right. So your hands might be closer to the right knee, or they might be further out and closer to the hip. Doesn't matter. Wherever you feel comfortable, wherever you're able to keep that torso lifted, because again, we don't want to sink into our gut. We don't want to shrink our shoulders forward either. So shoulders stay back, rib cage stays lifted, nice long spine. Find where that is good for you. Hold it there and breathe. Relax the lower body. Relax the legs downward, letting them settle into the floor, into the mat. Left hip will be off the floor. And then slowly we're going to begin to walk down. Now as you walk down, you might get down into your forearms. This is a good place where you might actually use your block or your cushion, because if you don't go all the way down, you might be able to use that block to support your head as you hold it here. We'll be holding it here for several breaths. So you want to have your head supported in order to be comfortable. If you don't use a block or a cushion, you might use your hands, your fists. So that's an option. And then for some of us, you might be able to come all the way down and maybe just bring your head to your flat hands. Wherever you are with this, keep the torso nice and long, not collapsing into the gut. So again, decide what feels good to you as we hold this kind of full body twist. And we take nice, big, full breaths. So breathe fully as best as you can as you hold this for about 5 breaths. And with that next in-breath, slowly begin to bring it up. Be mindful and slow with your movement. Come back to the place where your hands are planted. Pause here for a moment. Ground through that right hand once again as you inhale, lift that left arm up, bringing yourself back up. Resituate if you need to as we go into the side-to-side movement again. Do that a few times. And then the next time your knees go to the left, your left, we're going to, again, let that go. So adjust your hands, adjust your positioning. Again, if that right knee is now hovering, that's okay. Just try to release it as much as you can. Letting go of any tension or holding that is keeping it from easing its way downward, however far that might be. We'll take 2 more breaths here, just letting go. Lower body grounding and settling, upper body gently lifted. And then making sure that we're nice and strong through that left hand, press that into the floor. Reach up with the right arm and twist around. So again, finding where it feels good for you to place both hands on the floor, nice and long through that torso. Take a couple breaths, and when you're ready, we're going to bring it down on this side. So here again, decide now, this may be different on this side, so see where it feels good to you, how far down you want to go. Find a way to support your head, whether it be with a block, your hands, or you can go all the way down. Finding your best position and taking about 5 nice big breaths here. On that next in-breath, gently begin to come up, pausing as you come upright with your hands alongside each other. Being firm with your left hand, inhale up through your right, come back to center one last time, just a little side to side, twisting just to neutralize the spine, the hips, and then come back up straight. Roll those, or lengthen those legs out in front, shake them out, maybe roll those ankles a little bit. Beautiful. Just pause for a moment here in your seat. And I'm going to turn to the side so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. Get grounded on your sit bones. I always like to pull the buns out of the way when we need to get grounded on our sit bones. We're going to do one more seated twist before we head down to the mat. Let's take your right foot and plant that right foot to the outside of your left extended leg. And be sure you're able to kind of plant that foot. So we don't want the leg hovering up like this. We kind of want the bottom of the foot planted. So that might mean you take the foot further away if you're not comfortable bringing it all the way in. Or it might mean that you just place the foot to the inside of that extended leg. So you decide what feels good to you. Grabbing hold of that knee with both hands. So it's like you're hugging that right knee, right shin towards your body. Really lengthen up. So we're trying to avoid any slouching, any rounding of the back. This is another place where you might want to sit on your blanket. That helps elevate your spine to keep that nice lifted spine. So we're grounding through that lower body. Even weight through both sit bones as you gently relax the shoulders and lift up through the core. Hold it here and breathe for a couple breaths. And then maintaining the hold with your left arm. Take the right hand behind you or by your hip. Lift up tall. One more time on the inhale. And then twist over toward your right shoulder. So I'm going to be twisting away from the camera. Nice big breaths here. Breathing. Staying balanced on both sit bones. We'll take 2 more breaths. And then slowly the head comes back, the shoulders come back, and we return to neutral. We're going to do the same thing, of course, on the other side. So position that left foot, again, wherever you're feeling comfortable with the left foot. It might be different from what the right was doing. First, just hug it in. Hug that in. Both hands help. You find your lift through your upper body. Find your grounding through both sit bones. And then right arm continues to hug while the left hand comes down. Lift it tall on another inhale. And now twisting over to the other side, your left shoulder. And then breathing, staying balanced through both sit bones. Maybe you close your eyes, maybe you find a focus point. But you take those nice big full breaths right into any resistance, wherever you might be holding. As you exhale, imagine releasing, imagine letting go of whatever you're holding on to. We're wringing out the abdominal organs here. It's a beautiful twist for that. We'll take 2 more breaths. And as you breathe in the next time, slowly the head, then the shoulders, and coming back to center, shake it out. And now we're going to head to the mat. So you might need to make sure you have enough space behind you. Move forward if you need to. Bring those feet up onto the mat, hands below the knees, and then gently roll it down. 1 vertebra at a time, engaging the core to help you ease down. And then once you're there, straighten out. Give yourself a nice full body stretch. Lengthen completely. Breathe. Maybe you do a little point and flex with your feet and your hands. Awesome. And then those arms will come out to the side like a T. The feet will come back up. So reposition yourself and just check to either side. And make sure that your hands are below your line of sight and they're not up here like a Y. They're more like a T. Hands are in line with the shoulder blades. And then your feet are in line with your hips. We'll take a nice breath in. On the exhale, we'll take those knees over to that left side. So wherever you are with this, you could decide to just stay here. You could also decide to bring that right leg a little bit closer to the left, over top the left perhaps even. And you could also decide to bring both legs up towards your torso for a deeper twist. So you decide where this feels good to you. Whatever you're choosing to do, make sure that right shoulder blade stays planted on the ground. So we don't want to twist and cause that right shoulder blade to come up. Then you're better off keeping your knees further away from your torso and planting that right shoulder blade. So that's why we start off in that first position and then gradually deepen the twist as we feel comfortable doing so. Always grounding through the left, in this case, the right shoulder blade. You can keep the head looking straight up, or if it's comfortable to the neck, you can turn the head to the right, looking past that right hand. Breathe a few nice big breaths here in your spinal twist. Here also you might sound out if that feels good to you, or blow out that breath, sigh out that breath, whatever feels good. Letting go, cleansing the body with this twist of whatever is being held. One more breath. And with the next inhale, slowly bring the knees back up. Turn the head to center if you had it to the side. Plant those feet again, and let's twist to the other side. Right side, left shoulder now stays planted. So based on that left shoulder staying planted, we can adjust the legs to the extent that we want to deepen our twist, as long as we are staying grounded. And we can turn the head to the left now if we choose to do so. Taking 5 nice big breaths into this side. That next inhale, slowly bringing the knees back to center, head back to center. Readjust your hips if you need to. Bring those knees into the chest and just flatten the back, maybe rocking the knees side to side a little bit. Letting it go. Feels good to flatten out that back. Now I'm reaching for my block, so go ahead and grab your block or your cushion, because you could still do this on your cushion if it's a firm cushion, or a firm blanket, folded blanket would work as well, like I have over here. So we're going to take that block or cushion or blanket and we're going to bring it right under the sacrum. So lift your hips up, press into both feet evenly to lift and bring the block right under the sacrum. Be sure not to have it under the spine. You can even touch to make sure that your spine is open and that the block or the cushion, the blanket, whatever you're using, is under the sacrum, under your hips. And then allow the arms to relax, shoulder blades flat. We're going to slowly bring one knee up, then the other, and then we're going to raise those legs up. So once you do that, you might feel like you need to adjust the block a little bit again. Make whatever tweaks you need to make. And then allow your legs to just float up to the sky. This is a nice modified legs up the wall pose. Beautiful, gentle inversion. Very cleansing, very detoxifying, very restorative. Helps bring the lymph back down towards the heart, towards the lymph nodes. Our lymphatic system is a key system that helps boost our immunity, helps with detoxifying the body. So we want to support that lymphatic system as best as we can, and this pose is a wonderful way to do so. So imagining just letting the upper body settle into the floor. Of course, there may be some effort here, and in fact, if you feel like you need to use your hands to hold the legs, that's fine too. You can certainly do that. If you need to bend the knees, that's fine too. So again, make whatever adjustments you need to be able to hold this pose, balancing ease with your effort. So of course there's some effort here to hold this pose and hold the legs upright like this. Let's see if we can bring some ease to that. Imagine the legs floating. Releasing any unnecessary tension, activation, engagement. Finding breath. Once again, breathing in and out deeply. We'll take 5 more breaths here. Next in-breath, just slowly bend those knees down, feet come down slowly, then one at a time the feet will come to the mat, nice and slow. Press both feet into the mat gently to lift those hips, take that block out, put it aside, and one last time, bring those knees in, flatten out that back. Maybe do some rocking, or maybe just hold the knees in, whatever feels good to you. Taking a few big breaths here as you do that. And then we're going to prepare for the final pose, the best pose of all, those a lot of people think, which is Shavasana, our final relaxation. So if you need some supports under your knees or under your head, please go ahead and bring that blanket. Often having a rolled blanket under our knees can be nice. So if you need that, go ahead and do that. If you need a rolled blanket under your neck to get comfortable, you can do that. And then just allow yourself to settle. The palms are up, the shoulders are relaxed into the floor, the legs are splaying naturally. If for some reason it's not comfortable to have your arms out like this with palms up, you might also rest your hands at your core, keeping the shoulders relaxed. So go ahead and set yourself up in your Shavasana in the best way that you can do so to feel supported. I'm going to sit my way up so that I can guide you through this final relaxation. So as you settle the body, letting go of any holding, any engagement, I invite you to bring your awareness to your toes, your feet, your heels, taking one big breath, directing that breath right into your toes, feet, and heels. And on the exhale, feeling your feet melt into the floor. And then bring awareness through the legs, the knees, the thighs, the hips, your glutes. Take one big breath. Imagine the breath flowing through the legs, through the hips, and on the exhale, allow the legs and the hips, the glutes to melt into the mat. Now bringing awareness into the abdomen, the low back, all along the spine, the upper back, the shoulder blades, the heart space, your entire torso. Take that big breath in, fill the torso with breath, and then on the exhale, let your shoulder blades sink into the mat, let your back relax, let your heart space soften. And now bringing awareness to those arms, hands, fingers. Taking that deep breath into the arms, hands, and fingers, and on the exhale, letting them settle, letting them sink into the floor, or perhaps into your torso. And finally, bringing awareness to your head and feeling your head against the floor. Softening the features of the face, taking a big breath in, directing it right into the face. Exhaling, letting the head sink, relaxing the scalp, softening that face even more. And I invite you to notice the space that you created within you. the clearing that you created within you. And if for some reason you still feel there's something that's still left behind or held within, take a moment to bring your awareness there, wherever that might be in your body, and guide 3 big full breaths into that space, imagining that as you breathe in, you're bringing healing prana, bringing life force energy into that space, and as you exhale, you're clearing it out, you're softening it, you're easing it, you're releasing it, whatever makes sense to you. So wherever that is, take those 3 big breaths in and out of your body, letting go of any final resistance or holding, any final cobwebs that you might still be finding within your body, within your being. Feeling the spaciousness within. I invite you now to take one last nice big breath in. And on the exhale, sigh it out, sound it out, let it go. And begin to make gentle movements with your body, wiggling toes, fingers, maybe turning the head left to right. Little stretches, gentle stretches, whatever the body's asking for. Eventually bringing one foot up onto the mat slowly, followed by the other. Maybe you do some little gentle side-to-side rocking with your knees. Maybe you bring those knees up into the chest, hugging them one last time to flatten out the back. When you're ready, go ahead and turn to your right side. Pause there briefly in that fetal position on your right side. And then use that left hand to press into the floor and gently ease your way upright. Come back into a nice upright seat. Find the seat that's comfortable for you. I encourage you to close your eyes if you haven't already. Just finding that nice steady seat, lifted spine, and bringing those hands to your heart space. Bringing the chin down towards your heart space. I thank you for sharing in this practice with me today. Namaste.